team, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then hey, I'm Lara, and this channel is all about productive and purposeful living. So if this sounds like something that you're keen to get on board with, then feel free to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell and you'll be notified of when I upload. It is every Thursday. Today we are talking about mindset shifts that you can make for a better life and a better 2020. So here are a couple of the things that I've learned that have led to a more positive and a more intentional life. First of all, less stuff is more value. So this seems like I'm having a little bit of a brain spasm, but trust me. 2019 was pretty much my year of decluttering. So I did big, huge, massive decluttering overhauls. This may have in fact started even earlier than that. It was because I wanted to start this journey of intentional living, but I had no concept of where to start. So I started by Marie Kondoing my life. Weirdly, this actually ended up being the best place to start. The more I started to get rid of things, the more I realized the value of the stuff that I had or the value of the stuff that I was letting go. I noticed that having things wasn't necessarily adding value to my life, but instead it was reminding me that I needed to either maintain them or it was reminding me that I might never fit into them. And as I sold and donated more things, I began to realize what was truly important and what was truly valuable. Next was to be savings smart. And I actually want to preface this whole chunk with saying that I have never been one to be in a huge amount of debt. I've always been lucky enough to believe in only spending the money that I have. And I am deathly afraid of credit cards. Thank you, Mum, for instilling that in me. So I'm not really someone who's accumulated a lot of debt. And I want to start there. Because for you, if you may have a lot of debt, then being able to be savings savvy may not actually be available to you until that debt is repaid. And I completely understand that. However, my learning was that, and this learning kind of took place towards the end of last year, was that I shouldn't just generate savings when I have something to save for. I should generate savings all year round as a staple. By doing this, I've actually already saved a huge chunk of money towards my crazy 2020 travel goal, which is to travel to 10 countries this year. So if you want a little bit more advice about how to be money smart this year, I have made a video about it, which I'll put in this little spot here. And I'll also have linked a workbook that can kind of help you to go through how to get control of your finances. I'll have that down in the description box or like up here. The next thing which I have learned, which I would love for everybody to take on board, is that busy does not equal successful. We are in this weird culture where we value being busy over actually achieving anything. I bet you this conversation sounds super familiar. Hi, how are you? I'm so busy. In this weird twist of the modern age, we've kind of begun to worship this idea of being exhausted and overworked and mentally beyond our capacity. More so than we do value being rested and being able to fulfill our workload and be successful because we are taking care of ourselves. So keep this in mind for yourself. Because it's so common these days to work ourselves to the bone and then end up quitting our jobs because we're overwhelmed, needing to take really big mental health breaks, having crazy anxiety built up over years. This is something that we all do, and I think women in particular do a lot. We apologize simply for existing. Someone will bump into us and we say sorry. We'll need to email someone in a professional capacity and we'll start that email with, "Sorry to bother you." Not only does this cause great detriment to our professional life, but it also puts us in the mindset that we are secondary, that our needs are not important. It sways our mind into thinking that our needs are illegitimate. And we need to stop doing this so that we can start empowering ourselves in the way that we speak, the way that we talk, and the way that we hold ourselves. Next is to value your sleep. This is another thing that in our society we weirdly put at absolute last. On our list of priorities, sleep is not even in the top 10. We usually put sleep way down the bottom. We get so distracted by go, go, go and hustle, hustle, hustle that we forget to sleep, or we just put that priority elsewhere. How many of you have worked late nights so you can just get this thing done? How many of you have been like, I'll spend 20 more minutes socializing. It doesn't matter if I get less sleep. How many of you have gone, even though I'm staying up late, I still need to get up early to get it done? Because I can tell you now, the irony is that you need sleep to function. And to function well, sleep promotes productivity. So it seems really counterintuitive to be like, no, I'm going to try and be productive more, which means I'll get less sleep. When really, in order to be productive, you need to get your sleep. The human body can survive 3 weeks without food. It can only survive 11 days without sleep. That should tell you how valuable a thing it is for your body and your brain to function. So if you are keen to be more productive in your life, ensure that you are looking after your sleep patterns. In the humble words of Ron Swanson, don't half-ass a lot of things, whole-ass one thing. And this can only really lead to one thing, and that one thing is burnout. We end up overcommitting and under-delivering. This is why you should say no more often. If you need a tool to support you in being able to say no more often, because I know that I suffer from wanting to be polite and say yes to everything, and then ending up having no time or having to cancel at the last minute because I can't deliver on what I've said. I don't keep a huge diary on me. By not keeping my diary on me and not keeping my diary on my phone, so none of my appointments are on my phone either, when someone says, hey Lara, can you work this weekend? Can you hang out on Sunday? Can you fill in blank here? I can't just go, I'll just check right now. I actually have to go, I'm so sorry, I don't keep my diary on me. I'll check when I get home. And what this gives me is the valuable entity of time. It gives me time and separation to be able to go down, sit with my diary and be like, do I actually have time that day? If I have these other two things on, can I feasibly fit in a third thing? Or if I'm saying yes to this, what am I saying no to? It gives me this valuable breathing space to really think about it. Next is to make sure that your goals match a vision. Again, ironically, this seems so simple, but none of us do it. All of our goals are like, I would like to be thinner. I would like to learn a language. I would like to go to the gym more often. I'm trying to think of these really cliche New Year's resolutions that everybody says. I would like to eat healthier. I would like to... These are the resolutions that we usually don't meet. And the reason we fail at these resolutions is there is no clear why. There is no clear vision behind it. Why are you doing this thing? What is the underlying motive for it? My vision for my life is I want it to be adventurous. So my goal is I want to travel more. So breaking that down even further, some of my mini goals are to save X amount by this time, because that is supporting a very clear why. If you have a dream of I want to compete in this thing, if you have that as a clear why, then you're more likely to do the starting parts of I'm going to go to training every day, I'm going to go to the gym every day, I'm going to eat healthier. This is one that I came to realize recently, and it's such a cliche sentence, but I found it to be so meaningful and so valuable. I like to achieve things, and I like to achieve things well. But I found myself getting to the end of my days and all I could think about was the things I didn't achieve and the things that were left on my to-do list. I didn't get to blank, blank, and blank things. And then that would start to manifest a lot of guilt in my life. So I decided to start a different list. And this is a list of things that I call the little things. This is a list of little things that I did achieve that day, or little things that were awesome that day, or positive that day. I sat cuddling my dog this morning and it was excellent. I saw this cool bird fly up and it was awesome. It rained so heavy today, that was great. Or even little things like, I managed to get the dishes done today. I swept the floor today. I filmed a video today. Whatever those tiny little wins are, write them down. Because this starts to remind you that you did get stuff done today and that today was valuable and today was awesome. This one is really self-explanatory. We need to retrain our mindset that mistakes are bad, that failure is bad. Failure and mistakes are how we learn. We fall down, we try again. We keep falling down and eventually we learn to walk. Too often we get paralyzed by the fear of making a mistake and by the fear of failure that actually prevents us from trying in the first place. Without releasing a truly awful first video on YouTube, I never would have learnt how to do YouTube videos better. Without dropping literally hundreds of juggling balls throughout the years that I've learnt to juggle, I never would have figured it out. No one begins anything or ends anything perfectly. Life is a progress bar, and it never really reaches the end. And mistakes are how we progress along that journey. They're the steps we make that get us further along. We are all asked at a really young age, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I've recently learned that it is just as important to think about who you want to be when you grow up. I want to be brave like Jamila Jamil and Rose McGowan. I want to be strong like my mother. I want to be focused and dedicated like Leslie Knope. I want to be kind like my sisters. Thinking about the kind of person you want to be is just as important as thinking about the stuff that you want to achieve. Your life shouldn't be defined by a job. It shouldn't be defined by your goals. You should also think about who you are and where you want to get to as a human being. Doing this reminds us that amidst all of the noise and clutter in our lives, that we are the center of our own universes. That we need to take care of us. That who we are is valuable and is important and is possibly the most important thing. And at the end of the day, that really is the trick to a better life, is reminding yourself that it is about you. Your life is about you. It isn't about anyone else, it isn't about comparison, it isn't about achieving what that person achieved, it isn't about following life by the guidelines set out before you by society. Life is about what you want, and it can only be defined by you. If you have anything that you want to strive for, know that you can. You are freaking awesome, and I know that you can get there. As always, thank you. Oh, I forgot something. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, etc. And as always, thank you so much for coming to hang out, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.